What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Veve Vantage Podcast. It's been a long time. How are you doing, Mr. V?
I'm hanging in there. I've been working extra, and just staying busy. At least man, I've had a lot going on off app, and I've been enjoying myself. I feel really good. I'm not sleeping all too much. Feel good. I feel good. I'm being really productive, so I'm happy. I'm pretty happy. Got to go on some vacations with my family. Got to spend time with a couple of people I haven't seen in a while, so it's been pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've been pretty productive too with things outside of VV. I've been working on things related to VV quite a bit, um, which I'll talk about. But in terms of life, I've been working a lot, super busy with my day job, and then we both live in the East Coast, right? So, and I live in the colder area. So the summer season is pretty precious in terms of nice weather and the fact that it doesn't get dark until 7 or 8. So I've been spending a lot of time outdoor playing sport, going for hikes and stuff, and it's been super nice. In terms of Vivi, I today I just logged into my Twitter for the first time in like a couple weeks, and I haven't been keeping in touch with anything. However, I've been working on a project directly related to VV with specimen collectors like you and the other folks that we have interviewed and have talked to in mind. So this new project that I'm working on, it has multiple phases, and so it's called the Veve Vantage Club. And you are a part of it too, because we've been talking back and forth, but this is my first time mentioning it to our listeners and the community. So to give some context, we started the channel back in 2023, but we started VV way like before that, in early 2021. So within the past over 3 years, almost 4 years, we've been talking to so many collectors. We've been interviewing them, we've been chatting with them in real life, or through Discord or Twitter. And so one thing that I realized is collectors put a lot of efforts, time and money and dedication into building their collection. However, um, that's not really a good way for them to showcase what they have. And so it also stems from the stories that we hear from the collectors too. Like we recently interviewed Daniel Sparks. He's a big whale, and he's a very dedicated listener of the podcast. So shout out to Daniel. So Daniel is just one example that I want to highlight. There are many others out there, but recently, as a part of this project in particular, I interviewed Daniel, just a one-on-one kind of thing, sort of like a focus group, where I ask him, he's a specimen collector. How does he manage his collection? How does he want to showcase his collection? Because right now, the social feed on a VV app doesn't work. Like if you tag people, there's a 50% chance they can see it. And if they are able to see it, it's not easy to keep that conversation back and forth. And so right now, a lot of the specimen collectors, the only way you can showcase your collection is by doing like super artificial listings. So you can list your specimen for like 1 million gems, and that's how you're going to get the attention. Then people clicked on that and they go to your profile on VV, but they can only see your collectibles, right? There's no comics. And even like when they see your collectibles, they are not, there's no convenient way to organize them. You have to remove everything and re-add them back if you want to organize them in a certain order. For example, like if you want to put like all the Disney stuff together, or like by the season, that doesn't it's not easy to do that on VeVe. I don't think there's a way to do it too. So with that in mind, I started working on this project, which I'm calling the Veve Vantage Club, and it has multiple phases. And it's the first app I'm building, so that's why it's been taking a while. What I want to do is sort of phase one of the Vantage Club will be to bring the slaps back. So a while back, Cherry Chart and Cryptos and Comics, shout out to those guys. They had comic slaps, but that was only for comics, and I don't think that feature existed anymore. And I think it did very well. It really helped people to showcase their comics, right? Like the low mint or the nice mint. And it created a lot of organic content for VeVe, which benefit everybody, the company, the collectors, the new users too, because it brings some sort of validation. Now we don't have that anymore, and we haven't had it for a long time because the sites doesn't exist anymore. I want to bring that back and add the collectibles component into it as well. So right now, the first phase of the VeVe Vantage Club will be a feature to allow collectors to come in and create slaps, and they can create slaps for the collectibles, for the comics. Um, so the goal here is to help you. Let's just say you just acquired a very nice mint. Let's just say it is like 1928 Mickey Mouse or something like that. You can come in, you can create a slap for it, and there's going to be options for you to customize it to show the meaning of that mint, and even add your um, your username so people know it's yours. And this 1928 Mickey Mouse is a special mint for this character in the company because it is the first year that Mickey Mouse was introduced, like the FA year Mickey Mouse. That's an example, right? And then so I hope that this will help collectors to showcase what they have. This will also create a lot of organic content, which will help VeVe and everybody because the more people talk about the app, the more content there is on social media, the better everybody will be. Um, and then later on, there's going to be other features that will allow collectors to showcase more of their collections. But I'm not going to mention that now because A, this is my first time building app. Everything takes a while, and B, I don't want to overpromise. Uh, but this is something that I've been very excited about, and this is an idea that have been in my mind for months. I I have I don't know how to code to create an app or anything like that, but I could not stop thinking about it. Like it's in my mind every single week for months. So I started doing it over the past months. And so version one is I've been learning on the fly and just messing around. And so version one is coming soon. And so I'm pretty excited with that. Uh, yeah. So long story short, I've been working on this project, and um, even though I'm not active on social, I've been very active with something related to VeVe, and I'm very excited to share that with everybody. And I also want to give a shout out to you, to to Daniel, to Mr. 41 for the support on this project and the podcast in general, and to everybody, to our guests and all the listeners. Because that support, even though we haven't put out any episode for a long time, that support really just been lingering around, that pushed me to work on this so that everybody can benefit. Yeah.
And for everyone listening, I got to tinker with it from a collector perspective. And if you ever see my some of my posts on X, maybe once in a blue moon on the VeVe feed, I like to put some graphics together for showcasing what my newest acquisitions are, and they it takes some time doing those things, but I like to streamline that process, and this definitely does that. I think it looks really well done, really well put together, and of course, it's first version of it. but I think it's worth trying it out, and you'll find that it'll save you some time if you do create graphics, and it'll provide some consistency because if you make a different graphic for each different set or each collectible that you have, you're kind of like sorting through a whole bunch of different possible backdrops for them, and then trying to find ways where you can add the text so it fits just right. But this makes everything so much easier. It's very presentable, very easy to read, easy on the eyes, and I think you'll find that you like it. So definitely check it out if you have a moment. If you buy something today or this week, give it a shot. Give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah. So that's me. What about you?
So yeah, circling back to like what I've been doing, um, on one of my vacations, I found I stopped by a comic shop because like I was just curious, and I don't really have many comic shops around my hometown, and so I came across two of the same comic but like different covers. It's Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, so it's a play on merging
Can you
Disney.
put it again, show your chest so everybody can see it?
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
merging
nice.
Disney and Marvel.
Yeah.
So this is one cover that I got, and I did not take the sticker off, the price sticker off of it. Whatever.
He
Um,
overpaid for it.
yeah. And this is another one. This is like a foil cover. Uh, Same comic, just a different cover. And I thought it looked really cool. And I can't remember which one. Maybe one or two of both of these are on the VeVe app. I haven't opened these up yet, and I want to get them slabbed. Um, because I like Disney, I like Marvel, and it was just really cool to see that they um we're playing with the merging of the two worlds with the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Stones, and from Marvel, and having some Disney characters
Yeah.
mixed with it, just like they do like with they have they're going to be doing 2 year run of different uh what is it Disney versions of Marvel comics. So I've been buying those as well, and I'm going to get them slabbed once I have all of them ready, so I could just do one shipment. Hopefully, I get 9.8s. So that's one thing. So that's kind of like one thing that I've been doing off app, and then the other thing, I wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con, but it wasn't really convenient because I've been working like crazy. So I just decided to not go. Um, and one person that did was Jay Green. And
Shout out to Jay Green.
shout out to him. And while he was there, he managed to grab some swag from the event, and he was kind enough to offer people who didn't go to send some stuff out, and I was able to get some of those things just recently, and then he had some extra copies of the new X-Men comic, X-Men 97 #1, and I bought one of the 9.8s that he had. And this is it. So this is my third, I think. Yeah, this is my third slabbed comic that I have. And I know in real life it's not valuable or anything, but I thought it was really cool because I did watch the X-Men growing up. I was a
Mm,
fan. I am a fan of it still. And um, I just for whatever reason, I'd rather have the physical copy and start a collection in real life. And I figured it may as well be something related to what I know. And
yeah.
so I thought that was pretty cool of Jay Green to be able to offer that to me. And I'd rather buy from someone that I know than someone I don't know. Just
Yeah.
like on the marketplace on Vivi, you know. Another thing that I've been doing, like while I've been working a lot, is I've been tuning into a lot of different content creators. I know I
Oh, hold on,
mentioned,
hold on. So before you move on to a new topic, I just thought it's very cool that in every single event, folks from BB community always offer to buy things or like to bring things for other members. Like I think I remember Jay Green bringing some like pins or
Yeah.
something like was that him?
Yeah, he got pins of
Yes,
like of
he
whatever
got
your
personalized pins.
right, yeah, like whatever your picture was for your profile on
Yep,
VeVe, he would print those out, put them on little pins and like big button pins. And then so like when people were walking around at New York Comic Con,
that was
people
last year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If you didn't recognize the username, you would recognize
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
profile.
Shout out to Jay Green and then other folks like Steve-O. I remember seeing Steve-O at the Comic Con in New York last year, and he was carrying maybe 15 pounds of comics. And he offered to ship them to folks across the country, and I think some in Europe too, which is very cool.
Yeah, very cool of him.
Yeah,
Definitely cool. Not, I mean, not everyone has that the space like in their
yeah.
bags because man, walking around any of the like Comic Con, as I just learned last year,
Mhm.
my first time going, it is exhausting. It is exhausting. Like, and you
Yeah,
can stretch it out. So like,
it was
uh,
nuts.
but in either case, yeah, that's very cool of them. Uh, I don't know if I have it in me to be able to carry all of that stuff. Um, but big props to them and anyone else who's willing and able to extend that courtesy to people throughout the community.
Yeah. All right, let's give shout out to some channels that you've been following.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned in a previous episode, within the past like month or two, I've been like tuning into some really odd hour based on my time zone, based on our time zone, odd hour channels. Um, while I've been working, like I can't really tune into everything for an extended period of time. It's usually like 5 minutes while I'm transitioning from one task to another, or while maybe I'm driving. But some really great content creators out there it's man, like they bring so much energy. I don't have it in me to be as enthusiastic as a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a gift. It's a gift that some people are just, blessed with. Maybe they work on it too. I don't know. I don't know because I don't quite have that in me. But like Kid Arcade, he crushes it, man. He crushes it. Like he's go 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 go, and like it's infectious. It's infectious. It's a lot of positive energy, and the people that tune in or his guests, they really match that energy. And so, big shout out to him. The Uncommon Podcast, the Real Uncommon Podcast. They absolutely do a great job. They bring everyone into the fold. They're so positive all the time, very supportive of everyone. D and Hanano, um, those guys, wonderful heart, wonderful hearted. They have wonderful hearts, and it really shows. They're very authentic. Um, and then Informant, good buddy of mine. He's there.
He's a big whale too, right?
Informant? No, no.
Okay,
But
okay.
he does have some like really nice collectibles. He's a really good sniper.
Mm.
And he's he's a great person to talk to, and he's very personable. And I appreciate that, especially like when there's not that many people willing. I mean, there's just a lot of people who are willing to talk, but like when you're talking about strategy, full scope of how things are operating on the platform and all that, great person to talk to. Um, and he does a great job with his channel. Um, he covers drops during the weekdays. And who else? Superstar Money. They
Mm.
bring it all the time. They're very balanced with how they break things down. If there's data that can be presented, they bring it. They bring it. And if they don't have it, they pull in the right people who do know how to produce that data, and they all give credit. They reference it, and it's very important. They provide a service that's very important, that should not be overlooked by anyone, in my opinion. Um, and then Patient Hodler,
Mm.
he's over in Europe. So like it's super late, super late when when I get to tune into his channel. He covers crypto as well as like he covers crypto as well as some VV related things. But if you're looking for an introduction to the crypto side of things, definitely tune into him. And then Danny the Bull too.
Hmm.
So just there's a lot of people. I know I left out some that I may have tuned into to watching, but all those people, awesome. They bring something different, and uh, I'm grateful for them because my hours are so crazy. I always have someone to tune in and watch. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, the other day I worked 24 hours straight. Other days 14 to 16 hours. So it's just wild. Like I'm all over the place, and so it's just it's comforting. You're
Yeah.
looking for consistency
Hmm.
when you're so busy with your day-to-day stuff. And some people like to watch a TV series, um, or maybe tune into the same content creator that they have the same time, same place, maybe on Spaces, like guys like O'Malley, Miss Gex. Um, just there's a lot of people on Spaces. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Uh, but grateful for all those guys who've been just crushing it. So on another note, I've I have made a couple of purchases in the past couple of months. Of the most recent of note have been the Carnage and Venom collectibles. I got the 666 editions.
Oh, those are nice. I saw
Yeah,
them.
so
Yeah.
I was like not the one, not necessarily the one I was like gunning after.
Hmm.
But I think those are pretty cool additions considering that like they look really evil
Yeah.
and it
Those are
just
very high quality collectibles too.
yeah. I was very surprised with how they look in the AR,
Hmm.
and those things look really clean, um, even if they are static. The other items I've bought recently, Standoff Chart helped me negotiate for the Lion King collectibles. Um, uh, they were Simba, which is animated, Rafiki, and Scar.
Is that the
There were
Simba FA?
yeah, that
Okay,
was.
okay. Yep.
Mhm. I got those three with matching editions, and like it's kind of weird because in order to complete, not that I care about completing the sets per se, like I care about finishing sets,
Mm.
right? But there was like a weird fourth piece in that set, and it was the pencil. It was the Disney animated animator studios
Oh yeah.
pencils.
I remember that.
And in order to finish that set, you have to have the pencil too. And that's kind of frustrating. But I'm not going to go after that. But so I did get those three collectibles, and I left out the pencil in that set.
Did they all have the same mint?
Yep. They all had the same edition number. Stand-up chart helped me negotiate for that. It's something that I had my eye on for a long time,
Wait,
but
you
I
bought
couldn't.
them from the same person?
Same person, yeah.
Oh,
Some
okay.
another. Um, I don't know. I paid that guy a lot of money over the past couple of years. He's just a really good sniper,
Yeah.
and I feel like I could have paid enough. I paid plenty. Um, and then anyways, I guess he kind of was just a lot more flexible with his pricing because he
Yeah.
hasn't been on the market at all. So
You
I got
mentioned the pencil. Like,
yeah.
listen, like just you mention it makes me feel like it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
They
jeez.
started the pencil last year, like sometime last year, right?
Yeah, about a year ago from
Wow.
so like maybe
Time flew by. Oh my God.
I think it was like in August
Yeah,
2023.
I totally forgot about that. But wow.
Yeah. So I did match that set, which was nice. Definitely happy about that. So I could check that box off.
So you had the pencil before the three Lion Kings?
No, I never I did buy a bunch of them.
Hmm.
speculating back, when we were all when all of us were really
Yeah.
like gun ho about speculating, and I never did get the additions that I wanted for the pencils, or I couldn't match them all,
Mm.
so I wasn't gonna bother. So I no, I didn't I don't have the pencil that matches for that set. I know that Lion King was that like highest grossing movie of the whole Disney franchise
Mm.
modern in modern times. And then released Pixar slash Disney, right? Released Inside Out 2, and that broke the Lion King record. So up until like this past like month or two, the Lion King was like I think the number one highest grossing film. I think maybe Frozen. I don't know.
Mm.
But anyways, and then another thing that I got was I made my first DC collectibles purchases for the first time in like 2 years. I bailed on DC collectibles just because I was not liquid at the time, and then just recently I found two collectibles that matched the Superman FA Superman and the FA Wonder Woman with the matching editions on the market, both at very reasonable prices that didn't bother me one bit. And I just scooped them up, and now I have my first two pieces again.
Do you want to mention the
Oh
edition
yeah,
number?
yeah, that's cool. They were repeating editions, so like 5555. So
Both of them.
four repeating fives for both of those editions, which is pretty cool. I was looking for the Todd, the matching Todd, so that I could have the big quote unquote the big
Mm-hmm.
three for DC comics characters, but it turns out that the Todd is in a dormant account, so
Mm.
can't do much about that. Um, so that kind of does bring me to my next point. Um, the 2 year timeline passed for the KYC stuff, for the KYC, for the non KYC accounts. And supposedly they were going to have those accounts forfeit their collectibles and comics, right? And O'Malley had a space the other day on whether to buy or not buy on X, right? And I was one of the first people to go up on stage and speak my piece on the issue. And I did say that, yeah, I'm making a couple of buys here and there, doing what I do, buying special editions to check some more boxes. But I wasn't. I made it very clear that I don't have any intention of stacking anything or grabbing multiples of anything until Vivi speaks out on this very important topic. Because although although there are collectors on the platform, there's this component where people want to stack so that they have future liquidity down the road. The issue that has come about more recently because the 2 year marker has passed is it's a month past that 2 year deadline when people had to KYC. There's been plenty of dormant accounts for over 2 years now. And what's going to happen with those collectibles and comics? We need an update on the true supplies for these different
Mm.
collectibles and comics. I know that a couple of I can't remember how long ago this was, but do you remember Vivi Fox or hearing
Mm-hmm.
of her?
Yeah.
She's very savvy with data, and one of the data points that she brought up was pointing out what the true supply would look like or the quantities would are of collectibles and comics that have not been moved in accounts that have not been active. So, in other words, for example, this FA Superman collectible has 8,888 editions.
Mm.
If everything was in circulation, right?
Yep.
We held back some of theirs as usual, and the rest were out in the market and in people's accounts. It turns out that if you take out the dormant accounts and the amount of and the collectible the Superman collectibles in those accounts, all of a sudden we now have 6,500 approximately 6,500 Superman collectibles in circulation in active
How
account.
how does she determine dormant? Is that they haven't KYC and they haven't logged in for a while?
Zero activity after I think a specified period of time. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that was at the very least a year,
Mm.
at the very least, if not more,
But
right?
but she doesn't know if they have KYC or not yet, right?
I can't speak to
Yeah.
that, but if someone hasn't, but I think it was if you use the KYC deadline as a
Mm-hmm.
marker and count a year from that point on, I think it's safe to say that those people did not KYC. And those collectibles and comics are effectively out of circulation, thus passively burned, right? And now we have, for example, instead of 8,888 Supermans, FA Supermans in among active
Mm.
wallets, we now have 6,500 Superman collectibles in circulation. I think that's approximately 27% supply
Yeah.
gone. So
Yeah.
that is a drastic change. People do need to take that into consideration when they are pursuing different collectibles of old, season one through season four or five or whatever it was when the KYC deadline was done,
Yeah.
and when Vivi did transition those released editions. So like if they went from 60,000 editions for comics and they dropped down to 30,000, 20,000, 10,000 editions for comics, whatever it was, it um all of these things play into the bigger picture of uh, supply and and demand or lack thereof
Yeah.
of
I
those
feel like
collectibles.
this is I feel like that topic is just a can of worms for VeVe. And this is why. So I think KYC, you could KYC within a period, right? Like way back then, and then there was a deadline.
Mhm.
So for example, I have friends who started VeVe like around like the golden moment time, and so they bought some collectibles back then, and they KYC, but they haven't touched it for a long time.
Mhm.
So then their accounts, maybe from this perspective, looks dormant, right? But it is still their asset. It still belongs to their account. So maybe that's why VeVe hasn't taken action yet, because
I mean, they had a statement. They were
was
very
it
firm.
for non KYC accounts, or this is so, or they phrase it as like bot accounts? Because if
It
it's only applied to the bot accounts that they have identified and flag and disable for compliant reasons, then it makes sense to me. But in terms of like inactivities, then they I feel like they're just gonna open a can of worms. Because for example, like I have friends who fall into that dormant category in terms of lack of activities. They're not bots or anything like that. Um, yeah.
I think the and maybe I overemphasized
Mhm.
the KYC
Yeah.
topic, but I think that more importantly, the KYC discussion establishes a cutoff time where people kind of decided to whether they opted to
Mhm.
or not proceed with having involvement in the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so like in other words, if
Yeah.
they made
Because you had
the
to KYC
by the
in
end of
order to,
July
yeah.
2022.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like July 30th, July 31st, whatever that last day was. All
Yeah.
right. But the grander point here is that um, when an account was inactive for 2 years, I believe that that was the timeline that people had to engage with their account, whether it's
Mhm.
logging in or
Oh,
doing.
so I think your point here is not with the issue of putting it back to circulation, like, but it's more like just counting the true supply of these collectibles, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we need all of
Mm-hmm.
us have all these data points below or information below each collectible,
Mm-hmm.
each image of a collectible or comic.
Yeah.
With the editions, how many editions are in circulation, how many were burned, what season it was part of, maybe, what IP it's a part of, what collection it's a part of,
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. Well, if something is out of circulation because certain accounts no longer are active and the 2 year timeline has passed, well, those are supposedly gone.
Yeah.
And how will VeVe reflect that is my question. How is VeVe going to inform us of what the true circulating supply is for collectibles? Because here's another big thing. This is all freaking digital, man. If it was like physicals, things could get broken and people won't need to say anything or report it or whatever. But this is digital. This is like one of the reasons why we have things electronically. It's so that it's easier to monitor. But how is it that the company that's coordinating all of this, how is it that they don't have the supply indicated, the true supply indicated? Because there's even more recent things like and not to put too much of an emphasis on
Mm-hmm.
certain collectibles or anything like that, but like Boo's Door from Pixar's Monsters Inc. There was a bunch of those that were burned. There was also burned, right? And then there were the Disney posters, the Platinum Moments posters.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a timeline, and then whatever wasn't minted, those were burned. They were supposed to be burned, but those supplies have not been updated.
Oh, I see.
You know, like what's going on? How difficult is it to just reflect the true supply? There's no shame in showing that like if something wasn't really crafted all that much or people didn't buy into one thing or the other.
Wait, so
It's
there are two issues here. So
yeah.
the true supply is determined by the exclusion of NFTs that belong to, I'm just gonna call them like dormant accounts. So which includes like bots or accounts that haven't KYC for a long time, so on and so forth.
Or even people who just opted to not be involved anymore and they were just like screw it and they just left their accounts alone. Even
Yeah.
those,
So
I mean
well,
it
I mean,
happens.
like that is a pretty sensitive group, but let's just leave it there, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's also the amount that was burned
Hmm.
but haven't been reflected in the count. Is that what you're referring to?
In like there's different descriptors
Yeah.
below there's different kinds of information shared.
Mhm.
Even if they wanted to make a different category, a different row
Mm.
or column, indicating like these accounts, these collectibles are no longer in circulation because they were in accounts that have been dormant for 2 years and they forfeited those collectibles. See you later, collectibles and comics. So now the true supply is X. That's salient. All of that is salient information for collectors and people who want to stack or
Mm.
and accumulate with the hope of selling those down the road. It's all salient because how many? I mean, and This has no bearing on me
Hmm.
because at this point in time, I have zero stacks. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the circulating supply. But if I want to buy multiples of something because I think that there's a great opportunity with those down the road, speculatively, I would like to have that information. Furthermore, the people who did make those decisions to stack under the, and this is not the presumption,
Yeah.
not assuming anything. We're not presuming or assuming. This was publicly stated in print for eyes to see, right? And I know that this is another sensitive thing where can we hold the company to previous promises, to previous statements?
Hmm.
If we can, if they don't want to follow through with it, the public is owed an explanation of what will happen. Will those collectibles be actually forfeited and no longer have a chance to be back in circulation? Or is there a possibility and they have not discounted that? Let's keep the conversation going rather than ignoring that among many other things. Because there's a lot of important things that need to be discussed that have not been touched for a long time. Let's be
Yeah.
real about it. And it's no secret. But when we're talking about supply and what people have been in, you know, putting a lot of money and time and energy into things for the past couple of years, this is something that people are owed an explanation of for and of.
Yeah.
I'm heated about that topic, even though I don't have a big stake in the supply when it comes to supply, because
Yeah.
my angle has always been special editions and sticking within that parameter. I don't veer out because I know that what I do will not be affected based on supply,
Yeah.
period, period. And I made that
So
decision like 2 years ago.
so let's talk about the fact that there are a large amount of collectibles that are, let's just call quote unquote, out of circulation because of multiple reasons. Dormant accounts, bot accounts, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's just say that, well, if dormant accounts is their property, so we're not gonna discuss about that. But let's just say a good amount of them are stuck in bot accounts, right? Because a lot of bots happened in 2021, right?
Right.
So an example can be like, let's just say the common edition Spider-Man or something like that.
Mhm.
Back then, there was a lot of bots. I think it's at a high level, it's easy to identify, okay, these 5,000 accounts or like these 10,000 Spider-Mans belong to 5,000 quote unquote bot accounts, right?
Mhm.
So what you're saying is instead of having 32,000 editions of the common edition of Spider-Man, there should be 22,000 edition. Like,
Yes.
well, original will be 33, but in circulation from, let's just call it verified accounts, like non-bot accounts will be 22,000.
Right. Yeah.
That, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I just want to see true numbers. I want to see
Yeah.
true supplies. Like if I want to
So
see that
okay,
with
okay.
crypto, you know,
let
it's
me let me explain to you why it's not easy to do that, right? So I work in tech. The way that VeVe identify a bot is there's no straightforward way. Like you can say, oh, if somebody clicks buy now within a fraction of a second, that is not humanly impossible, then it is a bot account. Because no, if human is not able to do that, to click that fast, then it has to be a computer, right? My company is also a tech company that's been around for many years. We also have suspicious accounts, and so when we think that somebody is botting or somebody is suspicious, the tricky thing here is like 99% of the time they are doing activities that should not be legal, should not be allowed. We know that based on our common sense and understanding and judgment.
Yeah.
But in order to prove that is kind of tricky because for my company, if we flag somebody as like a suspicious or like a spammy or scam account, we would have somebody from legal, so like a legal representative, get in touch with them to ensure that they are legit or they're not legit, right? And
Yeah.
especially, and that is, it is a, well, we have a system to flag these accounts too, but if they are high value, then there's going to be that human touch involved, and that's where the tricky thing here is it's very time consuming, and is if
To
you make,
verify
yeah, you,
that it's a person and that
yeah, well, we don't verify
operating.
everybody, because some cases, like, right, but there are some accounts that are high value. In the case of VeVe, can be some accounts that have allegedly bought it so many times that their account has like 100 collectibles, maybe some partners, maybe some R2D2, maybe like even a secret rare Spider-Man, that they are high value, that if you label them as bot and burn their collectibles or like things like that, then it's just going to be like opening a can of worms. Like, even if VeVe doesn't burn those collectibles, like, the fact that VeVe labeled this account as a bot is pretty controversial too. And I think that's why they're not doing it, because
Well,
there's going to be like 1% that this person is not a botter. I don't know how they're going to counter argue that, but this is why I think VeVe would rather not open that can of worm and not take action, rather than take action and face the repercussions.
but they stated it. But that's the thing. They stated, and again, like the bigger picture here is like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
for the accounts that have been dormant for 2 years, dormant. And I know I did put a lot of emphasis on KYC
yeah,
and
yeah.
block, and among other things. But I think the bigger picture here is identifying which accounts have been dormant for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, the accounts that have been labeled as botted accounts, I guess maybe that department isn't as big as they need it to be able to take care of the the discussions with those account owners, if
Mm-hmm.
you will. Like so,
Yeah,
like let's say maybe they couldn't talk to the thousands of people or that were
maybe
tied.
like 200. If
Right.
if you think about it, the at the peak of VeVe, we had like maybe 2 million accounts or like a couple hundred thousands.
Accounts in for everyone
Yeah,
listening.
yep, yep, yeah,
Accounts doesn't mean individual users. There
exactly,
could be one
exactly.
person with several hundred accounts or several thousand accounts.
And the majority of these accounts are bots, right?
Right, right.
And NFTs that these bots acquired, there could be like a secret rare Aston Martin that costs a couple of $1,000, something like that, can be very high value. So yeah.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, just I guess just to come to a close with this
Mm-hmm.
topic, it's more about for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the dialogue, keeping the dialogue going for the public in respect to the 2 year timeline for dormant accounts, what's going to happen to that supply of
Yeah.
comics and collectibles, and how that plays a greater role in the ecosystem of supply and demand or lack thereof
Mm-hmm.
when we have more scarce comics and collectibles in the
Mm-hmm.
market today, for the more recent drops, and
Yeah.
how that influences or how that uh, um, comes into play with the older items as
Yeah.
well. Because
I
as
think so. To sum it up, right? From my
yeah,
perspective, I think you have a great point because let's just say I'm Marvel, right? I have this version of comic books, and there are 1,000 editions of them, and I put them in the basement, right? If my basement is flooded and 300 comic books are no longer readable or sellable, or well, not really sellable, but like usable, they're gone. I should be able to tell the public that, hey, we only have 700 left. It's not 1,000 anymore. 300, some of them may be gone, some of them like are not good anymore, but there's only 700 left. I do agree with you that there should be more transparency on the true number of supply available. The reason why I wanted to provide those contacts is not because I disagree with you. I just wanted to provide more my hypothesis in why they're not doing it. And also, a good majority of the VV users have been advocating for being able to own the collectibles in a wallet. So like
mhm,
they want the key, right? Because they're paying a lot of money, they should be able to privately own it and not have it stuck on the VV account. If VV was to do something with the NFT of these dormant accounts or even bot accounts,
mhm,
that would raise a lot of red flags from the community because they'll be like, oh, if they're doing this with these accounts, what's going to happen with my account? And then there's going to be like a wave of people,
mhm.
pushing for interoperability.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's all about closure,
Yeah,
having
yeah.
closure
Mm-hmm.
and feeling comfortable with what in the world is going to be happening moving forward. And um, I, I know for a fact that the official VeVe account on X was tuning in when I did bring up this topic,
Mm-hmm.
spaces on O'Malley's space about whether to buy or not to buy, and this was like 2 days ago. So I think it was like Wednesday, September 4th. If you guys want to check out his account and tune into that, and you could hear a pretty colorful discussion with the community. But yeah, all right. Um, I think I made my point, and whether they act on it or not, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah.
Um, so so that there was that that has been on my mind for the past month because that 2 year KYC deadline passed, and a good amount of accounts have been dormant for 2 years. But anyways, um, another thing that I've been noticing is that there's a good amount of like bigger accounts who've been selling off their like dollar bin comics and then moving those funds into nicer, more desirable collectibles. Or
I love that label, Dollar Bins Comics.
yeah,
$2
um,
comics on well, 2 gems comics.
yeah, seriously, yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to list things that low to be able to get them off,
Yeah.
sell them off. But like with whatever that liquidity those people have been recouping, they've been putting into nicer collectibles, more desirable collectibles like
Mm-hmm.
the quote unquote grails, um, and or special editions, where the desirability factor is still a thing among the
Mm-hmm.
big collector, the big special edition collectors in the community. And man, they've been freaking gunning after those things and get like, especially because everything's on discount,
Mm-hmm.
relatively,
I
right?
saw the floor of Todd moving up for like 200 gems or something today.
Yeah. I know. I've been keeping an eye on the on Stacker
Mm-hmm.
and and monitoring who's been doing those like bigger buys, like sweeping floors and stuff. Some people have been buying DCAing consistently
Hmm.
and sporadically. And then I noticed that some people have been trying to sweep floors and then pumping them on X. And I guess just trying to pump their own bags. And we'll see if they actually try and peel off some sales while the floors are elevated. And I don't think FOMO is a thing right
Mm.
now.
Yeah.
So I think that we will see continued sell pressure for those collectibles and comics that have been moving up in terms of their floor prices. Um, what else can I say about that? There's going to be continued sell pressure. There's the delistings every 30 days.
Hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind as well. And we have New York Comic Con coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a site. All of this is it's all cycles. Whether it's the 30-day delistings, um, and then thin floors and people sweeping just to bring up the value of the floors way up, or if we have an upcoming event like New York Comic Con where there's going to be some really good drops that we can all expect as usual. Um, and then there's going to be a liquidity crunch, a gem squeeze, maybe. Well, the question right now is how many people are going to be buying gems for those upcoming drops?
Yeah.
Or are we going to see new all-time lows for a
Right.
lot of items in the market? We'll see. We'll see. But all I know is I'm excited for if we're talking about if we're trying to end on a positive note here, I am looking forward to New York Comic Con and seeing some familiar faces. Um, you know, being, the energy is a real thing. Like it's one thing when we see content creators on their YouTube channels or talk to people on spaces on X, but when you see people in real life, IRL, it's a different dynamic,
Yeah.
and
It's fun.
it makes for lasting relationships, friendships, and memories.